after I would say like 4 or 5 days in training, I have realized myself that I've been in a relationship like that. One of the girls or customers reached out to me and said that there is a jewelry store in most of the malls around here in Chicago that works with charities and organizations. Me and my daughter, we reached out to them. It turned out to be Alex and Annie. We ended up taking the banner from the charity, going to the store, hanging around for like 3 or 4 or 5 hours, introducing the people and the customers to the charity. And all the incoming money that the store raised, they would give us 10 or 15% of the money that people spent. Like a month later or a month and a half, we would get a check assigned to Tears in Heaven. There was something that was different and amazing, and as well me, as my daughter, we like to do that because it was kind of memorizing Zuzana and talking about her and bringing up the charity. And it was cool that there is an organization like that was supportive to us. In December, I found Family Shelter Services, and I reached out to them and I asked them if they need anything from me that I can help them. They asked me if I could get a Santa Claus, a Mrs. Claus costume, and come before Christmas time and just sit there and be a Santa Claus in the sunlight to the kids that are there and families, because Family Shelter Services had only abused women and families and fathers and mothers and the kids. So I got myself the costumes, I got myself a big canvas that looked like Christmas. I just went there. It was such an amazing feeling to be there, to be part of it, and to be Mrs. Claus when the kids would come up to me and they would be scared and have the bell and just ring the bell. And the mom was like, "Oh, this is Santa Claus, just tell him what you want," and this. And the kids were just like so shy coming up to us and sitting. It was something that money couldn't buy, and it was something that I was giving them that nobody else would. Right before Christmas, one of my friends reached out to me that she has a girl that's got 3 children and she lives right in my village, and she's got no money to buy the kids the presents. In the meantime, one of my friends that owned the bar, she reached out to me that she has frozen food in her previous restaurant that she has to get rid of. If I want it, I can get it, I can pick it up. So I basically rented the truck, got my friend, we went there. I put the Santa Claus costume on. I picked it up and I ended up going to the girl's house and the kids just knocking on the door with all the frozen food and all everything. You should have seen the look on the kids' faces when they see Santa Claus. And they're like, "Mom, there's Santa Claus there, and this and this and this." And in the meantime, her friend that basically organized this, she got some presents, so I have presents along. They let me in, I sit on the couch, and the kids just were so shy again. And I'm like, "This is Santa Claus, this is for you. And come here, what do you want for Christmas?" and everything. It was so cool, me as a girl in a Santa Claus costume, but it was cool. In the middle of December, I met some people and they had a suicide event at the Draft Bar. It was on Irving Park. So I partied with them. I was there as Tears in Heaven. They were raising money for the family that one of the family members took their life. And they tried to raise awareness for suicide and homicide. I was basically just a part of it with the logo of the charity on the table, and they had raffle prizes and raffles. It was just something to expose the charity, just to be there, just to talk about it. It was nice to be a part of people that understood what I'm talking about, what I've been through. In January of 2019, I decided I want to take a course for domestic violence. The first step forward was to take a course for mandated reporter. I basically had to take some prep training to prep myself for when I talk to victims and abusers, so I know what I'm looking at. And mandated reported is basically like a certification when you talk to victims and abusers that you keep it to yourself, or where something is going on, you are obligated to report it to the state. So I got this certificate in January of 2019. After that, it was in February, I decided to take domestic violence training and abuse. It was a 60-hour training at Mutual Grounds in Aurora. As I started taking the training, I would sit in the classroom and listen to the teacher. Teacher would talk about abuse and sexual assaults and everything, and I would just sit there in the classroom and look at the teacher. And I started having flashbacks from my previous life with my first husband and with my ex-husband Robert that committed suicide. And I would sit there, and as she was talking, I would look at her and I would have a flashback of reminding of my life, what happened. After, I would say, like 4 or 5 days in training, I have realized myself that I've been in a relationship like that, and I was a victim of my own in the abusive relationship. I would walk out of the classroom and walk back in, and teacher would just look at me and like, Kasia, what's going on? And I'm like, I just happened to realize that I was a victim in a relationship, and it just hit me, and I couldn't stop crying. I would have to go out to the bathroom and just chill, just let it go. As I finished the training in the beginning of March, something has happened. It was in Crystal Lake. A mom was accused of killing her own son. You guys might know it was the AJ from Crystal Lake. It has hit me like bricks. I was thinking, oh, I own the charity. I want to talk about homicide, suicides, awareness and everything, domestic violence prevention. Why don't I try to reach out to the family? As I said, I did. I got a hold of a cousin or someone. She would give me information about the wake and the process and everything. I ended up going to the wake. It gave me some kind of a closure, and it helped me help him right there and kind of hold her shoulder and tell him, I know what you're feeling. I know what you're going through. Let me just be there for you and help you. And it kind of helped me in a way of me being who I am, and it kind of gave me some kind of closure and helped me deal with my own things and on my own grieving process. As I finished the training for Mutual Ground for domestic violence, I have noticed they didn't have a logo when you walked into the shelter home. So I asked them if I can help them in any way as a charity. And they basically asked me if you could give us a canvas with the logo of the shelter home. That would be awesome. So I went home, I called my people that do my banners and everything, and I placed an order in. Like a week later, I had a banner of Mutual Ground, and I just picked it up and I went back there and I framed it. I had it in a frame and I put it on the wall. It was my thank you to the process of the whole thing, that they have made me realize that I was a victim in my own relationship, and I just realized